Again, good evening to all of you. Now we have our next resource person is going to present about working with various cloud service provider, and currently he is working as scientist D computer science at Infinite Center Gandhinagar, and he is a president awardee, honorable president of India for his technical contribution towards national educational projects in 2017, and currently scientist D computer science at Infinite Center since he joined as a scientist B at our center in 2008. He is basically a M.Tech, and right now just he awarded as a doctorate, a PhD awarded to him. Has over 12 years of experience in IT, inclusive of 2 years stint with Tech Mahindra, Mumbai as a software engineer. He has published several research articles published in national and international journals. Current engagements include activities of database management group, software R&D, e-learning. Majority of the projects from Ministry of Education, that which includes e-content development, EPG Pathshala, and automation of UGC schemes, etc. He is also participating in various national projects such as National Institutional Ranking Framework (NIRF), UGC MOOCs, Swayam Prabha, IRINS, National Testing Agency, Study in India, and so on. He received Open Education Award for Vidya Mitra by Open Education Consortium at Netherlands recently. With this brief introduction, I would request Dr. Abhishek to take his session, and I'm over to Abhishek. Abhishek, you can proceed now. I think you need to unmute your mic.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Raja. So, good afternoon to all of you. Since this is a last session of the day, so you must be occupied the earlier session. So be focused. I will not take much more time. I know and how it is tough to get those last session and all. So let me share my screen.
Sorry to interrupt, Abhishek. You have to have 1.5 hour session. It is mandatory.
Okay, then it's fine for them. Can you allow me to share?
Already I shared. You can't use share?
No, it is not.
Change road.
Okay, it is coming. No, it is available. Oh, no, it is available. Is it visible?
Yes.
So what we are going Is it audible now? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And a screen is also visible, correct?
Yes, it's fine. Fine.
So I will just show you with my credential also how Badal is working and how we are connected with that Badal and taking services of Badal. And finally, on the last one, we'll explore basically key. Yes, we are talking about cloud and cloud. So by default, cloud means people say yes, it's a public cloud. Can we set up the same kind of infrastructure on our premises? So we'll discuss also that among the on premises. So now the first we can say topic is the magic quadrant. Magic quadrant means Gartner is a firm that give this magic quadrant, because we say yes, well, for nowadays if somebody doctor say you have to take this one, then very easily you can take those medicine and all. Why? Because he's a doctor and related to that field. Similarly, that IT firm Gartner is on IT field that produce series of market research report, right, on the basis of their own data analysis, especially the qualitative data analysis, right, regarding maturity, their fund, basis of the user acceptance, visions, and all those things. So they give the magic quadrant. Actually, magic quadrant is kind of, it is four quadrant, and four quadrant is just our, in layman language we can say, best, then better, good, and average. So this is that four quadrant or this magic quadrant of the Gartner, right? So in any IT related things, if you want to go, okay, which one is good, then you directly go to the Gartner chart. So this is the, let's say right now we are talking about the cloud. So what is the Gartner chart of this cloud as a platform? Then what is the Gartner chart for the virtualization? Like that. Similarly, for other IT component also, you can go for that Gartner component chart. So it shows basically completeness of the vision and ability to execute, right? So like best is a leader, then better is a challenger, then good is a visionaries, and the next player is a your that fourth one, average, right? So leaders means vendor in this leader quadrant have the highest composite score of their completeness of vision and ability to execute. It means they executed well as per whatever they have their vision, right? Their market share, credibility, and sales capability, it's acceptable, and also with the new technology. Yeah. They are innovators, thought leaders, and they have well articulated plan that customer and prospects can use when design their infrastructure and strategy. Basically, in short, we can say, yes, this is the acceptable product. So whoever is on the leaders, we can say, okay, we can blindly go for that leader. Then challenger. Challenger is near about the leader, not exactly leader, but yes, he is a near about the first quadrant, that is the leaders, right? So participated in market, executed well enough, and serious towards the leader quadrant, and they have also the a strong product and sufficient credibility in the market. There is no issue of the fund, right? But what the minor difference between those leaders and the challengers are that acceptability is fine, but lack of size and influence of vendor in the leaders quadrant means market cap is lesser than that leaders. So it's a challenge, but yes, their product and execution all are at par with the leaders. The third one is the visionaries. Visionaries means our, we can say, good. Right. So a vendor in visionary cannot deliver innovative product that address operationally or financially important end user problem. but not yet demonstrated the ability to capture market share. That's why it comes under the visionaries. Right? It's a basically frequently privately held company and acquisition target for the larger established companies. So that is visionaries. Right? Niche players is quadrant or four quadrant we can say, often narrowing focus on the specific market and the vertical segment. It also includes vendors that are adapting their existing products to enter into the market. Means they are ready to enter into that particular market and will try to get the largest market. So these are the fourth one. So now, since we are talking about the cloud computing, then who all are there in the Magic Quadrant, right? So the as per this year itself, August 2020, there are three major players in the leaders: Amazon, Microsoft, and the Google. Right now, there is no challenger, and the niche player is Alibaba Cloud, Oracle, IBM, and Tencent Cloud. So those four are the niche player, and right now visionaries are also not there, right? So from this slide and from this quadrant, we can say yes, we should explore these three important cloud service provider: Amazon, Microsoft, and then Google. Similarly, for virtualization, once you will go for this, then you will get the leadership VMware, and other are in the Microsoft VMware, and the leader in the virtualization. Right. So for this magic quadrant is for the cloud infrastructure and platform services. Right. So who are the major players? We are taking and considering the major players as per the Gartner chart of their leadership quadrant. Right. So here the 33% market share is with the Amazon, 16% with the Azure, and 8% with the Google Cloud. You will get equally 1 year of free trial in all three major service provider. When you talk about the prawns, then prawns is reliability, quality, and professional support, because Amazon is a in market since beginning, even started the cloud by this Amazon and all. So it's a big player. Is it audible now?
Abhishek, it is fine now.
Yes. So where I left, or let me log in once again with my the common window instead of incognito. Just give me 1 minute. Now, is it visible? All right. Also, I'm sorry. Hmm. Recording is in progress. Yes, Raja, the recording is in progress. Just see.
Yes, fine. Go ahead.
Yep. Right. So with the cloud, yes, feature is still limited compared to this other quadrant. So now, what is our requirement? Obviously, all our other leadership means they will provide everything. But important is what is our requirement. So first we have to define size. What kind of thing? Whether for one PC, whether we require cloud or not. What is core of our company or organization, or you can say institute. Then expected growth rate. How your machines are expecting in upcoming days or month. Then finally your budget, because in institution the budget is a main constraint. Uh, for that purpose, our requirement. Before that requirement, for any system, whether it is a cloud or any implementation system in your organization, we have to check about the feasibility, right? So feasibility, there are three kind of the feasibility. One is economical, the second one is technical, and third is the operational. So economical means, since we are talking about that cloud, so which one is, whether that service provider is economical to me or not, as per our requirement. The second one is the technical feasible, means whatever they will do, they will ask whether I can do or my organization can do or not technically. So whether that is technical feasible or not. The third one is the operational feasible. Let's say they have given all the control to you, whether you can operate, your team is feasible to do all those things. So these three are the feasibility that we have to take care while choosing any of the service provider. And these three, obviously over and above these three feasibility on the basis of our size, goal of institute, expected growth rate, and budget. So let's say how you will compare, on which criteria you will say yes, I will go for Amazon, whether I should go for Google or I should go for the Azure. So on, there are 6 criteria where, or broadly you can say 4 criteria where you can say yes, on basis of this I can go and or I can choose. The first one is the overview aspect of our cloud service provider. Then a storage comparison, then computation comparison, fourth pricing comparison, and pros and cons for service provider, and finally selecting the cloud provider. Right. So these are the performance criteria for the service provider. So as a customer, what I should think about, because these 4 criteria we can compare, right? Before compare, what is in our mind? Our mind means overall, right? So this is the overall criteria that should be in of the every customer, right? First, the reliability. Our system must be reliable. in terms of how you can check reliability. So in terms of security, then customer feedback. For that, we can say, yes, it is reliable. Then stability, how I can check the stability, whether they are doing the regular release, proper documentation, continuous performance, load balancing are there or not. Then economical feasibility, whether it is in-house is better for me or the public cloud is better for me. So economical feasibility. And upgraded services, whether those service provider is giving the services in kind of bundle, because once, okay, someone is waiting on that one. Okay, I allowed. Right, upgraded services means whether they are giving those services in bundle or not. Because once you will get the service from the any CSP, then in bundle, then it will reduce the cost. So those kind of services would be there. And the last one is the flexibility, because when you will sign the agreement with your service provider, so in the contract there are so many flexibility should be there, like suddenly you can increase that number of VMs, additional services, CDN services, like that. It means those costs should be there, and whether they are agreeing or not. Nowadays they are that Azure and other may also, they are giving us the educational license separately, where the cost of that private or the you can say IT companies compared to the academic is different. So for that purpose, there are separate contract flexibility should be there. This is just a screenshot of AWS services. This is the dashboard of Google Cloud, and this is the dashboard, and the operation is of your Azure. Okay. So now we are going to compare, or we are going to see one by one all those 4 important points. The first one is the overview, then storage, then computation. Okay. So AWS has, it is a big player. As you saw, the market capital is highest. So 22 regions data center are there of AWS. And they are providing 18,000 plus services, right? 14 are the availability zone and 114 is the edge locations, right? So he is a very big player. So ideal for whom? So ideal for developer, management tool, machine learning or predictive analytics, database and storage solutions, business productivity tool, app integration, and the compute. For that purpose, AWS is very good. When we talk about that Azure, then it is available in 54 regions, and it is best for MS platforms. And if you are working with the different languages like .NET, Java, and PHP and other also, so for that purpose, Azure is very good. And when we talk about that ideal for whom, so it is ideal for big data, predictive analytics, game and app development, scalable data warehousing, blockchain technology, DevOps, IoT integration. Then next one is the Google, because we are comparing as a overview among those 3. So in Google, it's started, so 21 region, but a good point with the every region is the 3 additional zone in each the region that assure the high availability. It's say Google platform also support this MS and the different languages, and it is ideal for the data management and storage, app development, SMB business analytics or AI, productivity and workload management tools. So this is the it was about that overview of all the 3 leadership quadrant. Now coming to the storage. Storage, AWS deliver into offering a hybrid platform through its storage gateway. It offers secondary archival storage option in conjunction with Amazon's sole backup features, Glacier. User can opt for the simple object storage with S3 or block storage for the large container. In addition, the Elastic File Storage expand capability as we create files, which is ideal for the large corporations and generate the lots of data. So when we talk about this storage, there are three things: storage, database, and the backup services. So storage, they talk about these different services: simple storage service, Elastic Block Storage, Elastic File System, Storage Gateway, Snowball, Snowball Edge, Snow Mobile. So they have given the nomenclature like that. What kind of database they are supporting? Aurora, RDS, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, Redshift, Neptune, database migration service, and their backup service is in Glacier. When we talk about that Azure, so Azure offers dedicated storage option called the blob storage. This is reserved for the unstructured REST-based object warehousing. Like AWS, Azure also have a solution for large-scale data storage and high-volume critical workload with their Q storage and data lake storage. So here, in terms of storage, they are providing blob storage, Q storage, file storage, disk storage, data lake storage. And as I told earlier, also it is very good for the developer point of view. So it supports almost those kind of database like SQL database, database for MySQL, database for Postgres, data warehouse, server stretch database, like that. When we talk about that backup services, so in backup services, Azure is very strong, right? Archival storage, recovery backup, and site recovery. All three kind of backup services they are providing. Right? So in short, we can say this platform provides user with the largest array of database which supports three different SQL-based format, and their data warehouse gives room to grow. So at any point of time, you can increase and manage yourself. Right? The support that Azure provide for SQL is providing to not only storage, their server stretch data is also hybrid that offer an on-premises and off-premises storage also. So when we see in our on-premises, where we'll see how Azure is providing the on-premises services also. Right? When we talk about this Google storage, then it's provide the basic storage and database supports. Their storage solution are similar to Google storage provide the customer in compute, and they provide both SQL and the NoSQL database support. Someone is on the waiting area, just a minute. Yes. So they do have a transfer appliance that's similar to AWS, Snowball, and several online transfer services are available. So when we talk about pure storage services, then cloud storage, persistent disk, transfer appliance, transfer service. In terms of database, Cloud SQL, Cloud Bigtable, a Spanner, Data Store. And in terms of the backup services, nearline and the cold line. Nearline means frequently access data. You can say day-to-day data. Cold line infrequently access the data. So these are the terminology used by this Google Cloud. So from here we can say, yes, what are the difference between these top three service provider in terms of the storage. Right. Now, the very important and the core area of before choosing any cloud service provider is the performance can we do with the help of this parameter called computation. Right. So computation, basically Amazon has a wider and rich availability of services, and it has dominated the market since its release. That is very true. Right. But when we talk about this Azure, so the window has the advantage of built-in capability, because most of the companies are already dependent on the Microsoft product. That's why Azure become or you can say grow very fast due to their existing platform. When we talk about this Google Cloud Platform, so it's also integrated with its wide range of the product and the platform, because they are already in those market. Like they have very good own platform, whether it is a search engine or YouTube and analytical tool. They have already developed, and it is well accepted by the end user. So we that's why very in very short span of time they came into the leadership. Right? And also Google support almost all the operating system and flexible to due to commitment to the open source. They support to both, right? So we can say Google is also an innovator when it comes to cloud native business solution. So most of those, all three platforms having the common features like high degree of scalability, per second billing speed, security, and agility. So now we'll go one by one compute, because it was that overview of the computation for all three service provider. But when we talk about AWS one by one, right? So the computation service, they have the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, right? EC2, and the another one is the Amazon Elastic Container Service, Amazon ECS. Right? So this is the so EC2 is a primary compute service. It integrates with most of the Amazon Web services, promoting the capability and high degree of flexibility, which allow database administrator to optimize for cost. Again, someone. Yeah, I allowed everyone. Then the next the computation service or features is it allowed to scale up and down in a minutes, and it has the ability to deploy thousands of server instance at the lightning the speed. So at any point of time you can do this scaling things. The another beauty of this EC2 is using the AWS auto scaling monitor puts machine learning to use by monitoring your apps, and on the basis and on the result of those monitoring, it scaled the capacity according to your current requirement without padding the price, right? And as per that, other also they are committed that 99.99% availability as your service level agreement, right? The another computation service of this Amazon is the Amazon ECS, means Elastic Container Service. This scalable container is basically orchestration support of the Docker containers through series of API calls. Okay. So this ECS is registry feature and container service for Kubernetes also. So when somebody will say you, okay, what is the computation services of that AWS or Amazon? Then we can say yes, AWS Beanstalk, Amazon Lightsail, AWS Serverless Application Repository, then VMware Cloud for AWS, because when you will do that on premises VMware, that will also support you take a backup or mirroring into AWS, means on premises to public cloud also. So their component is there, we call VMware Cloud for AWS. AWS Batch, AWS Fargate, AWS Lambda, then Outpost, Elastic Load Balancing also. So this is the computation side from the AWS. So next is what is the computation for that Azure. So Azure basically virtual machine. Azure compute features rely on the network of virtual machine to enable the range of computing solutions that include development, testing, data center extension, and app deployment. Just a minute. Raja, and we should allow everyone.
That I'm taking care. I'm taking care, admitting.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So basically, when talk about the computation on this Azure, then on the virtual machines, it based on an open source platform, right? That is compatible with the Linux, Windows Server, SQL Server, Oracle SAP, and all. Then it also offers, means Azure also offer that hybrid cloud that combines, I told you that on-premises and the public cloud, and it can be integrated into global load balancing. So it will give you the glimpse of both kind of hybrid solution of this cloud. Yeah. Then AKS Azure Kubernetes services, because since market is very competitive, so internally all those vendors, or you can say service provider, is providing almost all the services and trying to make it compatible to each other also. For example, we saw in that AWS, they are giving the services to with the VMware, where you can do that on premises to public cloud also. You can easily move. Similarly, here Azure is also providing this in premises and the public cloud, and container-based services both are provided. So on that line, that Kubernetes services is a serverless container system, right, that allow containerized application to be deploy and manage the faster. It means container service is also providing by this one, Azure, and it offers seamless continuous integration and continuous delivery experience. Then security, enterprise governance, all features are there under this AKS services. So when we say, okay, what is the computation service from the Azure? So in the single word, we can say PaaS services, means platform as a services, then FaaS services, function as a services, then service fabric and Azure Batch. So these are the four important services as a computation is being provided by Azure. Right. Now next one is the Google Compute. Means what is the computation services from that Google, right? So like Azure, it is also providing the Kubernetes containers. It supports Docker containers like AWS was providing. Their cloud function is still in the beta phase, so they are working. It allows the service to manage the resource and deploy the apps, because I told you also this Azure and Google is very good for that developer point of view, and automatically scale according to the tariff or use in the real time, and deploy code from your Google Cloud or the Firebase or Google Assistant. So obviously, whoever is well accepted by the customer on their platform, the new features like Google is now providing this cloud. So they are integrating all their services into their own cloud also, so that user can easily cope up with the existing system. Okay. So what services? And the good thing with this Google is pay when your code is deployed. Before that, there is no need to pay. So as a services, what we can say, one is the Google App Engine, Docker Container Registry, Instant Groups, Compute Engine, Graphics Processing Unit, and Knative. So now coming to that pricing. So when we talk about this, our fourth one, because before this fourth, what we saw, first we saw overall. what is the overall strategy between those three. After that, second one, we saw storage, which kind of storage services they are providing. The third one, we saw computation of all three major service provider. Now the fourth and very important is the pricing. Since not everyone is the well versed with the features as well as the pricing model, that's why the all three have given the pricing on the different way, right? So imagine there are missing lots of transparency because it's provide the charges on base of either you can say requirement, organizations, or that services, right? But yes, the good thing with this one is they provide you the cost one calculator of for that cost. So on basis of services, you can say they will say you yes, this money cost would be there for such services. So in first earlier slide we saw all are giving the 1 year of free trial, right? So here also it offer the EC2 service, computation service for the 750 hours per month or up to 12 months as a part of their free. When we talk about the Azure, it's a good guidance has given on this their platform. So it's a better than this AWS. You can easily calculate, right? Those details. And one this is also for one when we talk about that free trial. So it also support the same 750 hours of the Windows Compute platform and the virtual machines also for every year. When we talk about this Google Cloud, so the pricing is a very easy and it is, we can say yes, it is a customer centric price is there and very user customer friendly, right? Why it is doing? Because he has to cater that market. So many discounts and other things, incentives are being provided by the Google, right? It's give free tier incentive include one F1 micro instance, means one instance would be provided to you for a month and up to 1 year, right? So these were the four important aspects. On basis of that, you can say yes, I should go for this one. But again, the question is, AW is meant for whom, right? Whether it is for me or not. Similarly, Azure is for what? So Azure for whom, right? So we'll see one by one. Let's say first AWS. So AWS is suitable for those who are looking for the global reach, right? Who want the stable, reliable service from a cloud platform with a long track record, need flexibility and wider range of services, and having the larger company or institution. So for that, AWS is best. So it's up to you whether you are fitted on this slide or not, right? Whether his requirement is matching with this one or not, right? My requirement, yes, I am in the market field and I require the global reach of my product and all, where I can provide the web-based services over the cloud. For that, AWS is best one. Right? So the second one is the Azure. I am a learner, or I can say I am a new to cloud. Right? So for that purpose, Azure is the best. Their platform or dashboard or web interface is very user friendly. You can easily migrate if you are migrating to the cloud first time. Then for that, Azure is very good. The second plus point with this Azure is if you are platform and you are using those window-based platform, then you can easily do so many things in very short span of time. Like Google is providing. Google has their own so many platform like video streaming, search engine and all. So obviously they are integrating into their own service. Similarly in Azure also they are doing their existing platform inbuilt into their cloud platform. So if you have the Windows platform, it is very good. If you are looking for the hybrid solution, obviously key on premises to the public. So in hybrid solution, it is also very good. And the last and very important is that from the developer point of view. Developer point of view, Azure is a very good one. So now next is the Google is for what? Okay. So looking for a comprehensive container-based model. If you are looking for this container-based model, then for that Google is very good. If you have a already well ahead in digital migration and become a leaner and the most cost efficient, then you should go or you should opt for the Google service provider. Website works within hyperscale networking environment. For that purpose, Google is very good. Development and deployment of cloud-based software and apps. For that purpose, Google is very good. And looking for a green technology solution, for that purpose, Google is there. So when you talk about price, then it's Google. When you talk about more global presence, high services, then AWS. When you talk about window-based services and hybrid service and easy to operate, then you can go for this Azure. One slide and very good website is there. CompareCloud.in. Right? It is comparing with all those small parameters also. Right? Among all the even their visionary and other also it is mentioned. Amazon Web Services, Azure, IBM, Oracle, Alibaba Clouds, all are there. Right? So I will request you all, you just visit this site. They have given very crispy knowledge on those different web service, cloud service provider with on the basis of the different parameters. So it was the brief and the important points among those three challenges, means major public service provider. Now we are coming to the next segment. So next segment is our e-governance infrastructure, or we can say the cloud services from the government side. So you must be aware about so many things like digital locker, GEM platform, state data center. So all are available onto the cloud service. And one of them, the cloud initiative, is a GI Cloud Meghraj. So this is the institutional setup of the Meghraj, where so many industry, government, projects, citizens, all are data are kept on this one. Right? So this is the basic architecture, where one is the service orchestration layer, where IaaS, PaaS, SaaS services all are there, resource abstract layer, physical resource layer, and hardware facilities are there. Then the cloud service management one layer is there, business support, provisioning, and config. Already I think Yatrik sir covered this one. So the ideal cloud environment or architectures as deployed for under this Meghraj. Right? So now in Indian scenario, when you will go for the cloud, because obviously most of you all belongs from that government entity, whether it is the college, universities, or research scholar. Right? So when we talk about this MIT, right? So whoever will provide the service in India, they must have in panel with the MIT. So in panel MIT cloud service provider, right now there are the 12 cloud service provider. Let me zoom it. So these are the cloud service provider in panel by the this MIT. So when you go for from where you will subscribe. So in later I will state. Let me scroll through all those vendors, CSP, cloud service provider, Amazon, then BSNL, Controllers, SciFuture, ESDS, Microsoft, NetMagic, Extra Data Limited, Reliance Corporation IT Park Limited, CFI, Tata Communication, Wavebreakers India Private Limited. These 12 are the cloud service provider that is in panel with the MET. So if you are a government employee and you have taken the responsibility to subscribe that or this cloud service, then you must choose among these 12. So for any purchase item, there are the two criteria. Either you should go through those tender process so that you can get those kind of services, or nowadays you can also subscribe these services through the GEM also. So here this one word is there, right? For GCC, and the data center location of the public cloud and the virtual private cloud, and GCC is for the government cloud computing, means all those government. Let's say when you will explore your cloud service providing from this one GEM, then there is an option for the government cloud computing. So in government cloud computing, Amazon has not yet applied. It means Amazon will not reflect in your GEM portal. Remaining 11 has it will reflect in your GEM portal also when you will select that cloud services under government cloud computing. So this is the guidelines, you can say, by the MET. And for public, where those data center are there, so for every vendors, they have given their own data center detail. Right. So all 12 are the audited, and once you can see the validity of all those are by the 2020. So they have to renew after that one. So why we should go through directly MIT panel? Because they have done those Meghraj, and this MIT has done the exercise on behalf of us. Whatsoever is the important parameter is required, that is already they have filtered it out for us, so that you can go for anyone. Even you can do the competition those among these 12 vendors, so that you will get the limited and the authentic vendors who will provide you the cloud service. Right. Apart from this, you can also subscribe, or you can say avail the services of virtual machine through that Badal. Badal is a project being run by, let me direct share this one. So this is that MHRD, now called Ministry of Education project, under that NME-ICT, National Mission on Education. Right? So under this National Mission of Education, there are so many projects are there that is given by the ministry to the different organizations. So Influnet is also doing so many projects under this NME-ICT. In same manner, IIT Delhi is doing this project, cloud-based project called Badal. They have given the name Badal. So it is for that, you can say community cloud, because it is focused on that government sector. Whosoever want to take the services of the cloud, they can apply over here and they will provide you these cloud services. Right. So for that, you have to simply register from here, your email ID, and here you have to add that organization. Right now, just see IIT Delhi, Kanpur, Influnet, then so many universities has taken the services from Badal, and it seems free of cost. we are taking the services without any cost. Even other university also, that is the service is free of cost. Right? So you just simply register. They will provide you the user ID and password for your virtual machine. Right? Now I am logging to as a user. Right. So what I will do? So first I will do the left hand side. This menu is under. My screen is visible now. Raja, can anyone can just chat me?
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, is it visible now?
Visible. I am able to see.
Okay. So what you have to do? There are the menu, user menu, and the faculty menu. So in user menu, basically there are two important aspects. One is the request VM and the my VM. Remaining is just for the tracking point of view. What is the current status of any VM, any task, and feedback to admin. Right? So when you will do these requests, they have these many templates, right? Windows R2, CentOS, R2 Evaluation Desktop, Ubuntu Flavor, right? And also recently they added Windows 2019. Then how much you want, how many CPU, RAM, and hard disk you can select from here. External hard disk you require. Here you have to write those purpose, right? What is the purpose of them? Because you belong from the government agency, so you have to write that openly. This virtual machine you are taking for the what purpose, right? And for how many days you want, for 1 year, 6 months, and like after that you can just submit. Once you will submit in the due course in day 1 or 2, they will provide, you can view it from the my VM. Next, so you can say these are the few like services that is being subscribed by us. So we have so many virtual machine from that Badal, and they have providing those public API and private API. So for example, let's say I'm giving just example of one virtual machine. When you will apply and when you will get that machine on that particular time, you will get this kind of a screen of once you will log in. So it will give you whatever you have requested, your project name. Here by default 80 GB with the template and 100 GB we request additional. Okay. Then 16 GB RAM, 16 virtual CPU, this window operating system, private IP, public IP. So these are the details. Then that basic operation of the virtual machine, in the coming days also you will see what the exactly a snapshot. Then so VM performance, shutdown, set affinity. Set affinity is not by the client, it will be done only by that admin. Then suspend that virtual machine, shut down the system. Okay. VNC means how you will take that access, right? So since it's a window machine, directly you can say remote access. This another option is, let's say it's a Linux machine and other. So on that scenario, these options are there, VNC. Once you will click on this VNC button, this link, just see, this link is already enabled. So once you will click, this machine is visible, or I have to share once again.
Yes, Abhishek, we could able to see.
Yeah, right. So this is the VM hosted at Badal, or we can say this is the VM that is being provided to us from that Badal project. Right. And this is just like one machine. your own desktop or laptop, you can do whatever you want. Here you will see those all the complete whatever the template was there. Here you can add, create the different server, all are there. Right. So this KV and HRM, so this kind of application we are running from here, right? So you can easily manage, right? Once they will provide, let's say tomorrow, so many these universities also taken this for Shibboleth based access system, or they want to do independent activity for their universities and all. So they can easily approach to Badal through this one, and they will be happy to serve you, and their team is very good of the mother. Whenever we request anything, they are very much cooperative, and they provide the solutions. Right. So you can operate. Similarly, once you will log in into that another platform, let's say Azure or AWS, so same kind of features, look and feel, you will get. Yes, how to create VM. Since they are very good in the market like AWS and Azure, so more features you will get. Right here, there are the limited features, but over there you will get, let's say, for pricing model. Here it is no, so there are different layers you will get on that Azure. They will give you tentative pricing on the basis of selection of your CPUs or your machine. Then scale, auto scaling features. Those details are there. So just robot and going back to my slide. Right. So it was the initiative by the government of India, right? Now the next one, because since morning, what you saw, their architectures, what is this? You can say complete cloud overview. Then we saw how we can evaluate, right? And who all are the major player on this domain. Then when you become kind of administrator of your organization, and somebody will say you have to deploy your own cloud at our center, we don't want to share anything, then what should be in our mind? We have to implement our own cloud, but in our premises. So that's we called on-premise cloud. And one is and you already known about this cloud computing. So what happened in this on-premises and cloud computing? So we can easily understand in other way. For example, your money and your bank account, right? So your money in your wallet or the purse and your bank account. Money is on both the in your bank account also, as well as in your wallet also. Okay. So same difference and the same concept between these on-premises and the cloud computing. So cloud computing, or you can say the public cloud, is a kind of bank where my all the bank accounts and those details are available. When we withdraw the money and put it in our own purse, then that is my own money, we can say. We can manage, maintain everything controlled by me, how to expand and all. But when we want to manage my money through bank, then we have to one intermediate, that is the bank will come and the bank norms, right? So similarly here it is also. Right? So we'll see what exact difference in terms of different parameter. So the first parameter is deployment. So in on premises, every resource deployed within your infrastructure means whatever infrastructure you have, so resource will deploy on that one. The enterprise will be responsible for maintaining and handling the related process, and all the access is limited to your organizations. So your data is very much secure, you can say, or you can say that access is limited to your organization, right? In the public cloud, resources are deployed at the service provider and accessed by the public. Whereas in private cloud, resources are deployed according to the customer need and can be accessed by them only. So it is a difference between the in terms of the deployment. Now the second, the difference we can say in terms of the control. So in on premises, the 100% control is with you, right? Complete privacy and complete control over the system you have to maintain by own. So for that purpose, so many organization is now moving for the on premises. In cloud, although the data and everything would be insecure, encrypted keys and shared by the third party provider, so there would be the share ownership, and obviously accessibility remains an issue if there is to be any downtime. So that is control point of view. The third one is the cost. On premises, obviously cost would be more when we talk storage device, software, power consumption, space, so everything, because obviously we are talking about our own cloud, means whatever it is there on the public domain, we have to do on the on premises also. Right? In the those resources, right? Those cost associated. So this is the difference between that from the cost point of view. Then security point of view, like organization who have very sensitive data like bank, right? So security is taken care by either by the third party or group of staff using an external tool. Since it is in your control, you can deploy as per your convenience. Yes, we can give this security to third party. You can apply security on basis of your requirement or your end user, and so many layer you can add on, because its control is in your hand. Right? In the cloud computing, the secure environment is provided by the cloud service provider. Right? There is a broader set of policy and technology provided by the CSP. Right? So what is this broader set? So this broader set by taken care in terms of our country, that MET. They have given those norms whether these parameters are available with you or not. If it is not there, then you would not be in panel. If it is there, then you would be in panel for the MET. Right. So security point of view, maintenance, because it is your own product, so you have to maintain everything. Means like server hardware, software, data backup, storage device, disaster recovery, whether you want to mirror your machines, so for that purpose, then systemic zone, different zone you have to create for the high availability. So for that purpose, on premises bit challenge for that one. And for the cloud computing, greater flexibility as user only pay for what they are using, right? And they can easily scale to meet the demand. In on premises, let's say you have a hardware constraint, then how you will scale that one? How, although you have money, but there is a constraint on the infrastructure. So for that reason, some most of people avoid, okay, better to go on the cloud computing. So in the single, at a glance, once we'll see on this on premises. So what are the advantage and disadvantage? The first advantage is the cost, and the disadvantage is also the cost. How it is? Let's say your requirement in upcoming years or in the near future is not much. Your target end user, or you can say customer, is limited. Right? So on that scenario, on premise is very good because it is a kind of one time of investment. Once you have your hardware and everything, then there is no recurring charges on this one, right? So this is the benefit. But yes, since recurring charge is not involved, then it is very good. The disadvantage, cost is also disadvantage, because when you want to increase it, so on that time cost will involve, and also it cost will take in terms of support, because here you have to manage everything, whether in terms of the mirroring, whether in terms of the availability of content or your data into the multiple location. So for that purpose, you require more money. So in terms of that, the cost is disadvantage on premise. The second one advantage is control. Since each and everything is you are the owner of your hardware, software platform, so it is well controlled by you. So any changes, configuration, upgrade you can do on your discretion. Then the third benefit of advantage, we can say connectivity. So there is no dependency on that third party of the internet. If you have the dedicated line and you are assuring that yes, our system and our internet connectivity is very good, then you can directly do with your connectivity. There would be not any issue of connectivity. So that is the advantage. So what is the disadvantage? As we already discussed about that cost. So another disadvantage is maintenance. Any hardware, software, storage or backup or recovery has to maintain on premises. Where if it should be in the cloud, then cloud computing, then no need to worry about the any maintenance. That is taken care by the CSP. Right. You need in the on premises, you require, just a second. Yes. So maintenance and budget, and so that would be the issue on the on premises, because you have to take internal also in the government, even every organization, all the due process to for the any purchase to upgrade the system, then cost would be involved on that one. If suddenly growth of your end user or stakeholder, so on that time it would be very constraint for you to do those maintenance. Then the third disadvantage is the deployment. As the software has to install on the server in individual computer, the deployment takes longer. Over there, you can easily deploy because they are providing you the bundle of different services. So you can easily deploy each and everything on that one. But yes, on the basis of requirement, you have to wisely choose whether on premises is good or not for you. For example, we are providing services to so many universities and so many government projects. So for that purpose, on premise is very good for Infonet Center. So we have both kind of infrastructure, our own data center, on premises cloud, then cloud service provider also, as through either GEM also, through tender also. So we can say almost we have all the kind of cloud at Infonet Center. So it was the just glimpse major service provider. So it's from my end. Now you can ask if you have any doubt and all.
Yes, a lot, Sheikh, and thanks. And people might have learned various cloud service provider in India. And in case if you are being government organization, and we could help, just like that, you cannot take your service provider. You have to follow MAITI guidelines, Ministry of some rules. You have to follow the guidelines. And somebody asked
Yeah,
two questions. Is it on any OS model?
Sorry.
They have posted, participant posted
No, just
whether Badal is free for everyone.
Yes, it is free for everyone. Everyone means organization, not individual. Right.
That's fine. Any private organization can avail the service.
Yes, it's depend on their, but they will provide you those services. And I would also like
is it free
to all, if you belongs from the university culture and you are the system admin and all, and you want to take any services of the Influnet and you are stuck with those servers and all, because sometimes what happen, we are dealing with the librarian and the library. So sometimes they say कि sir मेरे पास तो server नहीं है, ये नहीं होगा, वो नहीं होगा, college is not giving on that. So on that way, Badal is the best thing. You can approach through your competent authority to write that letter to that Badal, and they will provide you those service. And independently, you can run your machine. Nowadays, we have good experience with Rajab is also doing that one. Sibolith open access as well as this learning management system, where so many university has taken the services of that virtual machine of Badal, and they assign us ki please deploy your services on this machine. So like that, you can avail that one.
Only problem is they are running short of their public IP address now.
Yeah,
because we have used
and all is coming.
Yes. And is it free on any OS platform? No, they have customized OS platform.
Yes, they have their own template. But when you select the template window, on that scenario, you have to put your license. Otherwise, what will happen, even we saw the experience also, your virtual machine will run in the initial of trial period of the 1 month and 2 months. After that, on every half an hour, it will restart kind of thing, or your virtual machine will get shut down.
And one more question. Which tool we can use for vehicular communication? Vehicular communication. And I am not understanding exactly what this question means about vehicular communication. Question posted by Shusil Lekhi.
I don't know what the exact meaning of the vehicular.
Maybe something related to mechanical engineering.
No, we all are in the learning phase.
That's fine.
So,
any other questions?
Don't know this vehicle communication.
Vehicle to vehicle communication. Okay, you can post that my email address, sir. I'll send it to concerned person, and then I will come.
Yes.
It is IoT, Internet of Things. Okay. Yes. However, you can post your questions. I will try to get back to you. Any other questions? Okay, it's application of IoT.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, we'll revert back with that. So you can, since we all belong from the same organization, so during entire session of this complete week, you can drop us mail in case of any doubt or any help you required with respect to this cloud.
Yes. And I believe we can wind up today's session. And see, there is a small. Okay, Abhishek, I'm very thankful to you. And in case if I receive something, I will post it to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone.
Yes. You can wind up, Abhishek. Yes. Share some useful link for purely online cloud platform, sir. Yes. See, this question means, sir, this is just introduction. And again, I'm being part of this cloud. I'm working with cloud almost 10 years now. I used to take care of National Testing Agency, NTA website, and study in India and National Institutional Ranking Framework. Till last 10 years, I'm working on this cloud. Within 5 days, I'm damn sure we can't make you as an expert in cloud computing. That is, I'm damn sure. But we could give you the glimpse of information. After end of this session, you could guide your student and you can run small application at initial stage, sir. There are so many experts are in lineup. Like we do bring from directly Microsoft expert, cloud architect, and database architect from Azure, Microsoft Azure. There are 8 sessions. You might have received the schedule from me, and it's the for day 1. And a lot many things to come in 4 days. And we will teach you who are handling the live projects, and those people are going to teach you in the class in coming sessions. And anything else, otherwise we can wind up by tomorrow. See, I have scheduled in 9:30, but your original class starts at 10 o'clock. Please join today. I have allowed everyone at any point in time. For example, just 541 people trying to admit. And since it is of day 1, I have allowed everyone. Tomorrow, it will be locked exactly 5:15, and nobody will be entertained to come back. And kindly do not burden us, and then trying to cooperate. And anything else tomorrow would be, we will try to have some live interactive session. You also can post in between questions. You can ask questions. I will unmute your sessions and all, because today it's very much traditional. Tomorrow we'll have some live interactive session. Anything else? Shall we wind up today? Any live session on Cloud SIEM? Yes, sir. There will be people will give the demonstration, sir. We plan to have a live demonstration, but it may cost, and then because it is to more than 150 participants, and 150 participants, we have to spend huge amount. And anyhow, whatever we are going to have, we are going to take video and video sessions that we are going to send it to you. Obviously, you feel like you are in the cloud. You are in cloud platform, like that way you may have a feel. Sir, any practical session on clouds? No. Any live session on cloud? Yes, I am. I don't know. That's fine. That's fine. Can recording also after session? Yes, sir. Already we do record, and we will share by possibly I will try to share at the end of every day, so that it will help you to prepare your exams, and all our questions will be related to entirely 100% related to our our current session only. You don't want to additionally prepare anything. Wait. From tomorrow session start. No, not 9, sir. Session starts at 10 o'clock. Your schedule already we have shared with you, and by 9:50 onwards you can try to admit inside our room, our conference room, and we'll admit you. 10:15 we'll be talking the sessions. Tomorrow, what time the session starts? 10 o'clock. Again and again I'm telling it's at 10 o'clock. Today also I wrote a very clear email that day 1 only you need to wait for the integration, since other 4 days remain same schedule for every day. And please create WhatsApp group. Sir, WhatsApp group always is a double-edged weapon, sir. It's a kind of two-way weapon. One thing we plan to create for one good reasons, otherwise it will create backfire, and then that is the only reason, and we are not creating, and people are already full fed up about the group. And even I am being part of more than 20, 30, 50 groups around. People may not have, so that is the only reason we are not creating. However, you can, I am having same number in my WhatsApp. I will try to create. I will try to respond whenever you want, whatever questions you need. Otherwise, at the end of the session, end of the workshop, we will create. Whoever wants to be in that group, let it be remain same. Otherwise, they can leave as it is. Before in this, at the time of this session, we don't want to create at present. Telegram channel, yes, we will try to do, sir. We will try to use it, sir. And thanks a lot for the session PPT. Yes, you don't worry at all, sir. See, this training is regular part of our work. Whenever we do conduct, we will create entire course curriculum. We will share it with them as it is, whatever we are delivering the lecture. There is no doubt. Attendance link. Attendance link again. I don't know whether Sushil Lekhi. I need to talk to Sushil Lekhi, because each and every time, every moment I am telling, we are taking attendance link directly from this your WebEx session itself. I believe you are not attended or you are not attending properly. So please concentrate this session, sir. Yes, sir. PPT will be very informative. We will do it, sir. Thanks a lot, and we can meet tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock. Thanks a lot. Stop.